Boom, bam, we're back with Koumei, the Higasa, the Paracyst, the Perigale, and the Phenmor. No talking, no updates, let's just go. Koumei's farm is actually really easy, like stupidly easy. I got her in 28 minutes and 5 seconds, getting 2 Meso H7s, 2 Amanta Blade blueprints, 2 Koumei blueprints, and 1 Koumei system. The other 2 pieces I pitied since the activity itself gives you a currency, so plus 20 to exercising. But let me tell you, the activity itself is kind of annoying, but it's still really easy. The activity is unlocked by going to Cetus, talking to Saya and Kanzu, going to this place and starting the mission. The mission itself just sees you defending 2 areas while something forms for 30 seconds, then you deliver the item to this monument 5 times. Then you fight Deimos Infested, then a big guy spawns, you knock his health down, then you deliver 2 more of the things that you have to protect to kill him. It's easy. It took me at most 5 minutes on my very first run, then I got it down to about 3.5 minutes per solo run. But when you complete the mission, it'll be around 2 minutes 40 seconds, but it takes a second for the actual mission to be done completing itself, I guess. So I just count the total time in general. I'm not really gonna worry about the whole different things. So in general, it really does only take 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, but really I'm just counting the whole total time. Doesn't matter, I got it down to about 3.5 minutes per solo run, but with other people, I got it down to about 2 minutes pretty easily. The annoying part comes in with actually defending the circle. It's fine for the most part, but the distance between them and how fast the infested move into the circle kinda sucks. But if you have a room clear, it's generally fine. I used Mirage because this guy on my stream said to do it, and I said screw it, I'll do it. I didn't have the augment to put the ball on my head to make it easier, but it still worked out, still got it down to about 3 minutes. The mission is fine, and so are the drops. There's a 45.01% chance for you to get a relic, 10% chance for you to get endo, and a 44.99% chance to get any Koumei related item, which you can break down even further, so it's a 16.36% chance to get any Koumei item relating to her frame, and that percentage, 16.36, also applies to both weapons. The pity system for her is also quite generous. Completing the mission after killing the Oni gives you 14 to 18 Fate Pearls, and on Steel Path it's 20 to 24. And the pity shop is pretty cheap compared to Dante and Citrine's. Her blueprint costs 165 Pearls, while her other parts cost 55 each. So 360 if you're very unlucky, but it will also cost a bit more because each piece requires some pearls to craft it as well. 20 for each of her systems, neuroptics and chassis, then 30 for all of it together for another 102 pearls, plus the 360, so 462 pearls in total if you're very unlucky. But as I said, if you get her BP to drop, you won't need that much, same with any of the other items to drop, that's why it only took me 28 minutes. And the actual items to make her parts are pretty minuscule. 30 Grok Drool, some gems from Cetus, those are the specifics, it's really not that bad. So her farm is pretty easy. A low level mission which you can defend a zone, deliver the item it makes, and play with more people to get it done in less than 5 minutes. S tier, honestly. However, her potential isn't quite S tier in my eyes. Koumei is alright. Koumei's one is hit or miss. And I'm not dumb. I'm not using it out in the open because that's not what it's meant for. You want to hold off choke points, hold hallways, defend something, survive in one location, etc. But it feels like it has to be very specific even with that criteria. Multiple times when using it, the enemies just walk under the lines, even in hallways. And in the damage being tied to an RNG dice roll among the other abilities as well, it kind of makes me not want to play her in general content or even more focused content. Her 2 is gimmicky and fine. You can stack up on Decrees from Deviri and probably get some very busted ones for easy objectives like just killing things while wall latched or killing things at certain distances. Reading how the cooldown works sort of doesn't make that much sense to me, but when actually using it, it feels fine and you kind of understand how it works. Her 3 is her survival ability that I'm not really quite a fan of. The block percentage chance just makes me want to put any other ability over it to either just maximize damage or to live longer, like just putting Gloom on it. And her 4 is pretty neat, stringing up enemies and applying status effects to the enemies tied up, including that her passive makes one of your weapons apply random status effects, so galvanized weapons will probably be very good on her. But overall, I think she's a B. She's obviously a starter frame to farm like Rhino, but doesn't broach any OP factor that I know of or can really theorize at the moment. The Higasa's farm is the exact same as Koumei's farm, so no need to go over it. I farmed for it right after getting Koumei stuff, and here's what I got. 1 Meso H7, V9, W4, F5, and B9, 2 Koumei Neuroptics, 1 Koumei System, 2 Amanta handles, 1 Higasa handle, 1 Higasa blueprint, and 450 Endo. You can also pity the Higasa, and it's only slightly less expensive in total, being 300 instead of 360 pearls, but you also need the Fate pearls to craft its items as well, so it actually costs 347 if you get no items from it. I pitied the stock and the barrel, so plus 20 to exercising. The percentage to obtain any of the items for the Higasa is the same as Koumei, 16.36%, but in total it took me 42 minutes 36 seconds, so for both Koumei and Higasa, it took me 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 41 seconds. It's a very easygoing farm for both of these items, so it's an S here as well. I don't have the Higasa mod, which could probably bump this weapon up a bunch, but I don't like how this weapon fires. However, the shield in front is amazing in my opinion. It has decent damage. The burst fire itself is not one of my favorites. It's slow and you have to shoot all 5 before you can shoot it again, obviously, but the rate that they come out at is really not my favorite. It has decent stats, nothing too overbearing, and seems like it can be built for crit or status. The shield is probably one of my favorite aspects of it. It blocks a lot of damage. I don't know if the shield can break, but as long as you're aiming and crouching, you're really not going to take a lot of bullet damage. Melee, you're still susceptible to. But once it fully fills, and it doesn't take a while, it shoots a giant laser that only hits multiple people if they're very close to another. And this is all talking without it having the mod. And I'm pretty sure, as I said earlier, the mod will make it go up, and it also has a disposition of 2 right now. So, for potential, I think A tier. The Paracyst comes from the dojo. I, however, had it in my foundry before I even started the series, but that doesn't mean I can't talk about its acquisition. It requires you to have researched in the biolab, the Mutilus Quanta, the Embolus, the Acrid, the Torrid, and the Mutagen Mass. Frankly, that is super easy, not just to me, but probably a lot of you. The materials required to research these are as low as 500 salvage and 1000 nanospores. That's super easy. The Paracyst specifically needs 30 mutagen samples, 400 circuits, 4000 nanospores, and 800 polymer bundle. Again, super easy. Crafting it takes 5 mutagen mass, 15,000 nanospores, 1200 circuits, and 1 forma. The mutagen mass and forma is the only expensive part, but that's not terrible. Just a couple Fortuna bounties and a few relics. The only thing is time. It takes a while to research it and a while to make it, but still an S tier farm. It's super easy. Just join a dojo and pick up the blueprint. Another burst weapon. Well, this is your infection burst rifle that suffers from being old. It starts with pretty good status chance at 30%, low toxin damage, and a harpoon that you will never need to use. It shoots very fast in comparison to the Higasa, but doesn't do the damage of the Higasa. I'm pretty sure there's some nutty galvanized build out there, but it doesn't feel like there's any point investing in this thing in comparison to a bunch of other burst weapons, the Higasa notwithstanding, including that it has overall better stats and it is easier to get. It's a fine weapon, but honestly just MR fodder. D tier. Another burst weapon. The other weapons are pretty easy to get, this one not so much. The Perigale's parts drop from the Conjunction Survival node on Lua. Every Perigale part drops on the B rotation, except for the blueprint, which is on the A rotation. There's also 2 nodes you can get it from, Circulus and Uvarium. Uvarium has a lower drop chance, 6% for each part and 7.52% for the blueprint. Circulus's drop rate isn't that much higher, but it is higher, 10.16% for each part and 11.28% for the blueprint. The mission itself is just a survival mission with 2 new enemies that drain your life support very fast every 5 minutes that you can kill. That's pretty much it. So, it's 1 chance for 1 part at 15 minutes, 2 chances at 5 and 10 minutes for the blueprint. Now, before I started this series, I had gotten every Warframe that was released at the time. So I had parts of the Perigale already, mainly everything except for the stock. So a new question arises, including with my Paracyst. Will y'all allow me to use stuff I already have from before I started the series? But frankly, I might just go ahead and do that regardless, because I've kind of already done that in like 2 videos. Anyway, the Perigale also has a pity system. It's not that great, however. Every part is available at Archimedean Yonta for 50 Lua Thrax Plasms. The blueprint is 100, and you only get 5 Thrax Plasm per rotation. And there's a chance 4 Thrax enemies that spawn to drop 1 to 2 when you kill them. However, the chance is very low. I don't have them on me at the moment, but editing me could find them later. Probably. But on a side note, the comments in the fandom wiki for the Circulus mission are crazy sometimes. This shit is gonna make me crazy. You in the perpetual agony. And more. Just thought it would be funny because the next part isn't. You also need another 50 Lua Thrax Plasm to craft the thing. So not only are you forced to stay for at least 15 minutes for a chance at one part at 30.16%, you also need Lua Thrax Plasm to make the thing at 5 per 5 minutes. And 50 to buy the parts if you don't get them. I farmed for 1 hour 15 minutes for the receiver, and I got 1 Neo P7, 1 Neo G7, 1 Conjunction Voltage, 1 Perigale stock, and 1 Perigale barrel, which I already had both of those. So I ended up pitying the receiver, and I think it's a C farm. It's not as bad as the Brayton Vandal, but it's not that much better than the Carmine Penta in my opinion either. Again, another burst weapon. Honestly, it's more like a burst sniper rather than an actual burst weapon, but still. I like this weapon, and dislike the weapon for a couple reasons. Lots of damage. Small ammo count. Good burst. Weapon passive. Good crit chance. Sniper rifle. There's ups and downs to each weapon, and this one seems to balance itself out. But the low ammo count and the weapon passive really makes me not like it. But it's kind of required to balance it out, because the weapon passive gives its ammo efficiency plus 100%, essentially infinite ammo for 4 seconds on a headshot, which is neat, but like there are weapons in the game that don't have that restriction that just obliterate, and not to mention that snipers are a niche in Warframe already. The only useful snipers I can think of off the top of my head are the Rubico for Eidolon hunts, but I'm pretty sure there's better weapons for it now, and the Lenka with mag to go to level cap in certain missions and essentially just live in them. Snipers in this game or in general don't really work in a power fantasy like Warframe, unless the sniper is mega busted or needed for a specific activity. But for general use, you're better off with any other weapon. The Perigale is going into B. I don't think it's terrible, but I also don't think you're going to get a bunch of mileage with it, so the middle of the list it goes. I, however, do want to know if it can be busted, because I kinda like it, but I don't think I'll use it over a bunch of the weapons. The Phenmor has a super simple farm. Reach rank 2 with the Zerman people. I do not remember their name right now. Get the blueprint for 6,000 standing with them, and the materials needed are also simple. It's 15 Pinion Void Plumes, 20 Void Plume Quills, 6,000 Alloy Plates, and 15 Entrati Lanthorns, which Entrati Lanthorns are also kind of freaking easy to get as well. Not really that difficult. Which I now know how to get the Void Plume Quills and Pinions a lot more. Thank you all for correcting me on the Felarx video. So, for Pinion Void Plumes, you need to kill the Void Angel 15 times or trade with Archimedean Yonta every 8 hours for 1. 20 Quills is easy. Do bounties for a certain amount based on the bounty you choose, find the pink Cephalon in the missions, or trade with Archimedean Yonta. It's pretty easy, and for Entrati Lanthorns, just kill stuff, or get it for bounty rewards or Netra cells. That's all you need to get the Phenmor. I killed a few angels and just traded Yonta for Pinions for a few days. A tier. It's not bad, but I just don't want to kill a bunch of Void Angels, so I waited. So, the Phenmor. I hope I don't get this one wrong, but still, I think the Phenmor is good. I don't particularly like the Norma mode, but it's not bad. I like the Incarnate form a lot more because it's essentially my favorite arc weapon, the Grattler, minus the explosive bullets. And unlike how I feel about the Felarx's Incarnate buffs, the Phenmors actually seem useful, and this is without me having the final one because I don't have a melee Incarnate, and truly I don't need one currently if I'm being honest. So it has decent crit, decent status, a pretty good Incarnate form, and it's a decent weapon type being a single shot rifle. I think it has great potential, so A, right next to the Felarx. I hope I'm not wrong about it this time. And with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. This was a little bit of a short one, I understand. This was really easy, and that's why. But I would like to thank you all so much for watching. This will be the last Warframe video of the year, so I hope you all had a very good Christmas and have a happy new year. Next video will be, I think his name is Site09, the AX52, and Zaku Prime in their stuff. So, yeah. If you stuck by to the end, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care of yourself.